Who are the way too early top 5 teams in Big 12 football come 2026? I know. I have the answer. I'll tell you. And preview BYU-Arizona basketball. This is a bonus Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday night, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast. Locked On Big 12, thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. I hung out with Ben Criddle, ESPN 960. Out in Utah, we talked about Big 12 football, the transfer portal, top 5 teams going into next year, as well as BYU basketball versus Arizona tonight. I will be on hand, giving you firsthand coverage of the game. It's going to rock. I'm excited about that. In the meantime, let's talk hoops, let's talk sports, gridiron, all that jazz. If you hit subscribe, I could keep my job. Let's go.
Let's get out to the hotline. Welcome in Big 12 Insider representing the Locked On Network, Locked On Big 12 host. We got Drake C. Toll on the line. Drake, how you living?
Ben, always fun. I'm sitting right here, Sundance Resort, right outside of Provo, Utah, getting ready for Arizona BYU tonight in the Marriott Center. Could not be more excited to be back out west and on the air with you.
How lovely is Sundance? That's where we got married. Me and my wonderful wife, my better half. That's one of my favorite places on earth. The Foundry, love that place. They don't pay for me to say these things, by the way. Love it all. The Cowboy Bar there, the Owl Bar, if you will. That place is great as well.
Love it. The whole experience has been awesome. You know, it's interesting. I hear from a lot of BYU fans like, oh, Sundance, that is right there, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's just right there. You can go. It's, you know, they allow that. You can do it. So I'm taking full advantage this week. It's been a great place to stay. And look, I could not be more comfortable, rested, and ready to go for tonight. It's a huge night in hoops. I know we'll talk a lot about it.
Boom, shakalaka. I know the dust is settled on the college football season. How would you evaluate, how would you grade out the Big 12 college football season?
Yeah, I think the Big 12 was far better in 2025 compared to 2024 just because we had actually teams in the conversation, teams competing at the top of college football, Texas Tech being one of them. You know, the way America viewed the ACC this year with Duke and, Virginia and, Miami sneaks in despite not winning the conference, that's kind of how the Big 12 was viewed in 2024, getting Arizona State in. We were the league that got a team in due to the loophole in the rules. And this year it wasn't like that. We didn't have to get a lifeline given by some rule that a conference champion needs to be in the top 4 or the top 12. This year Texas Tech certainly earned it. Now, at the same time, you feel completely scorned if you're a BYU fan, and scorned if you're Brett Yormark. Brett Yormark should feel scorned. His verbiage has not sounded that way. But Big 12 fans, Big 12 fans and those who root for the conference, how did you leave BYU out and just sit on your laurels and say that's okay? I think you look at the scope of this season, you're excited that Texas Tech got its due, but you wonder how Utah and BYU, Houston, Arizona did not get more respect, and you worry about your standing for college football to come based on how you were treated in 2025.
Do you feel like who's your favorite right now to win the Big 12? I know we're doing all these way too early rankings and ratings. Who's your way too early? What's your way too early rankings? Maybe 1 through 5 of the Big 12. I didn't prep you for this,
right?
But you give me some of your favorites here to win the conference in 2026, if you could.
I think BYU, Texas Tech, and Houston all have to squarely be in that conversation. Think about this, Ben. It's a really strong stat if you want to know who's going to be good. Again, Texas Tech returns 6,799 snaps on the offensive line. BYU returns 6,370. Both of those are top 15 in the country. That it shows me they will both have staying power in the conference because their O-lines that were both quite solid will return next season. I think that Houston, who has 6,522, slightly above BYU, will also be in that mix and in that conversation. Arizona is still a team to watch, though I think, given their schedule, they will take a slight dip this year. But when I'm leaning on Texas Tech, BYU, Houston, the other two teams I would throw in that 5 would still be Utah, just because I think the Utes will start 5-0, 6-0, 5-1 this season and have a really nice path to early success that will propel them into a comfortable spot in the late season. But watch out for Oklahoma State. They said, hey, whatever Curt Cignetti can do, we can do as well. They returned, Ben, the 5th most snaps on their offensive line in the country. Now, their offensive line was terrible, but here's what that means. It means they can be picky, they can be choosy, they can bring competition in and still have guys who have played. Oklahoma State with Drew Mestemaker at quarterback, Eric Morris as head coach. He said what Indiana did with James Madison, Curt Cignetti, that whole rebuild, we want to do the same thing. Will it work day one? Yes, it will work. Will it win you a national championship? No, but it will help you compete in the Big 12. I think Oklahoma State ends up winning 8 or 9 games this year in a complete turnaround. But you best know that Texas Tech and BYU, Houston, they will be the top 3 in the Big 12 again.
Yeah, Oklahoma State has gone very aggressive in the portal too.
Yeah.
People don't realize that they're one of the better. They have one of the better portal hauls, I would say. They picked up some pretty nice prospects from a multitude of Power 5, Power 4 institutions.
They did. And it's people are like, oh, it's just North Texas North. It's just North Texas Light. Kind of. Yeah, a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's a large portion of their transfers do come from North Texas. But they also got Mose Phillips III from Missouri, Dominic Macon from Washington, Eni White from Penn State, Trudell Berry from Vanderbilt. The list goes on of players that they went and grabbed from other Power 4 schools like SMU and Louisville and even Texas Tech. They are building right now, not just from North Texas. They're going and grabbing legitimate guys out of the transfer portal. They're 3 stars, but Ben, if we've learned anything, it's that the portal star system is broken. They're giving stars to anybody and taking stars away from anybody. Oklahoma State is grabbing guys who were great out of high school, grabbing guys who were solid in the Power 4 ranks, and they're flipping them on their roster this year. I have a lot of confidence in what they're going to do. And then if I look at BYU and Texas Tech, they handled the transfer portal similarly this year, which is a weird thing to say because BYU is 7th in the Big 12 Conference in transfer portal rankings this year, and Texas Tech is 2nd. They have 21 commits versus BYU's 9. But for the Cougars, most of the good guys are coming back. Like, the players are returning. You don't have to replace that much. You're just kind of positive attrition. You get rid of the guys who weren't really contributors. The guys who entered the portal, by and large, weren't massive cruxes for BYU to win in 2025. For Texas Tech, it's kind of the same thing. They got 21 guys, but a good portion of what they're bringing in are players that are going to compete, not start. They will compete for starting jobs and possibly start, but not be instantly out. Yep, we're going to play you. And an exception to that rule would be Brendan Sorsby, their quarterback, and an exception for BYU would be their linebacking core. They brought guys in not just to compete, but to start day one at the linebacker position, understanding what they're losing. And I like the way that BYU attacked the linebacker position in the transfer portal. They did not say, hey, let's just go get a hodgepodge of everybody. They said, let's go get what we need, and from there, allow the guys on our current roster to compete. Hey, what do you know? Today's show is sponsored by FanDuel. Why is it sponsored by FanDuel? Because FanDuel is the place to go during the NFL season, which is still going on. And what do you mean still going on? Yeah, it's still going on because the Super Bowl is on the way. And for FanDuel, and fans of the NFL, and fans of not the NFL, but fans of like winning money and being happy, the Super Bowl is your place to be. With FanDuel, you get these profit boosts for Super Bowl 60. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding the underdog, building the last same game parlay. This is the game we've all been waiting for. $5. Get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel.com.
Do you believe that Brendan Sorsby is an upgrade to Baron Morton?
Upgrade, yes. Savior of the program? No. Can he win a game of the college football playoff? I do believe that, but we got to keep in mind, and I watched Sorsby this year. He didn't have a wealth of riches necessarily, but the cupboard wasn't bare. It's a decent Cincinnati roster he was working with, and he was a very good quarterback. I won't take that away from him, but Was he a 5-star in the portal? Was he an elite portal pickup? Was he better than Josh Hoover? A better pickup than Josh Hoover? Better pickup than Sam Levitt? Maybe. But I don't remember Brendan Sorsby for the first 7 games of the season. I remember him for the last 5 games of the year, Ben. I mean, I look, I'm a what have you done for me lately kind of guy. People are forgetting the drop-off, the fall-off that Cincinnati had this year, Brendan Sorsby had this year. So do I think that Texas Tech is better with Sorsby versus Baron Morton? Yes, better is the right word. Are they signing a national championship caliber quarterback? I cannot say yes at this time.
We got Drake Toll here on ESPN The Fan. Locked on Big 12 is what he represents, amongst other things. He's a very busy man. Give us a brief update really quick, because you have your own radio show now, as well as being a part of the Locked On Big 12 network. You do a lot of things. You're moving and grooving. Are you still part of the Savannah Bananas crew? What's going on?
Yeah, so play-by-play with the Savannah Bananas organization. I'll be calling a game Friday, part of our spring training. We're getting ready. Jackie Bradley Jr. got a hit in his first AB with the organization in spring training this week, which is really cool to see. And so, yeah, still calling games for those guys. That season kicks up here in a few weeks. Then Westwood One, the Drake Toll Show every morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So 4 to 7 here. I was up very early today to do the show from here just outside of Provo. And then Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff formerly with Coach Gary Patterson. I'm not sure if he'll be able to come back with us next fall. He's kind of tied up at USC alongside the Dallas Cowboy, Jesse Holley. And then, of course, Locked On Big 12. So the better question is, Ben, what am I not doing and when am I sleeping?
Yeah, I don't know what you are. I'm a busy man. I'm an entrepreneur myself, running a couple businesses and then doing this radio gig is for fun. You're very, very busy, a busy bee, if you will. And you were busy on Saturday night as well. You covered, I think, the BYU-Utah Holy War on the hardwood, and then went over to Chubby's, one of our favorite places to eat. Give us a breakdown of the game and then in the post-game experience as well.
It's so cool, Ben. That atmosphere is fantastic. And I don't think I saw the Marriott Center at its best. That's the best part is, it's a rivalry, but it reminded me a lot of when Baylor would play TCU in basketball. Baylor was always so much better that, it was a rivalry and everybody showed up. You're like, okay, we're going to beat the doors off these guys. And boy, did BYU ever, in the second half especially. That's where this team is best. And gosh, when it did come alive, when AJ dropped his 40th point, it was a madhouse. That place was as raucous and as loud as you will find an arena in the Big 12 Conference. It was as electric an environment as you will find in college basketball today, given the implications for BYU, given the fact they're a top 15 team. How is I'm going to throw up, Ben. I'm going to throw up. How is a 17-2 team, 5-1 in Big 12 play, 13th in America? The disrespect in football is carried over to basketball. They have one of the best home atmospheres you could ever conjure up, and they still don't get any respect. I was blown away on Saturday by BYU, blown away by AJ Dybantsa. He is the most 25-year-old teenager that I've ever been around. Like he carries himself. He looks like he's in his mid-20s. He's ready for the NBA, but he's still in college basketball playing for BYU. Loved everything about the Marriott Center, everything that I saw, but I know tonight will be amplified times 5, times 10, because number 1 Arizona is coming to town. Tickets at their cheapest are $200, and BYU has still, I guess, for the other talking heads, a lot to prove in their game tonight. But Ben, loved Saturday, loved Chubby's afterward and getting to meet hundreds of people who showed up for a post-game show and a meet and greet. And it's just the heart of BYU. Man, just a lot of good people with good hearts, good intentions that love their school, and it's really neat to see.
Yeah, BYU is we had a deep discussion, right, when all these new schools came into the Big 12.
Yeah.
And you've added a few other schools, right? And as you evaluate the new acquisitions, the acquisitions from the old Pac-12, may it rest in peace, the Conference of Champions, and you look at the UCFs and they obviously BYUs and these G6s that came to the fold of the Big 12. How would you grade out those acquisitions top to bottom? What's been the best acquisition for the Big 12, would you say?
Yeah, it's BYU at 1 and Deion Sanders at 1B, right? Like it's not it's hard to say even Colorado, but Deion Sanders, the addition of his presence in the conference has been huge. The reason it's BYU at 1 is in large part because of this beautiful merger between elite level athletics, commitment to football, basketball, the revenue sports, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You're grabbing one of the most passionate groups of people in the world, one of the fastest growing faiths in the world, and you take their flagship university and you slap a Big 12 patch on their shoulder, and you grab one of the best rivalries, one of the most underrated rivalries in all of college football, all of college sports, with the Holy War, BYU and Utah. You add it to this conference, and it's brought a whole different level of care. And, it's even something with Texas and Oklahoma. Everybody hated Texas and OU. They hated the rivalry. You didn't pick sides. You wanted both teams to lose because they were so pompous. With BYU and Utah, I think some Utes fans, with how vocal they've been about how they wanted to go to the Big Ten, and maybe they're validated and feeling spited by that, they have garnered their reputation of being kind of the heel of the Big 12. And a lot of fan bases love BYU. They come to their stadiums. They bring the ice cream. They bring the cougar tails. And they have started to find a soft spot for this school who is underrated, underrepresented, underappreciated in the Big 12, and that is BYU. I think they've been a great acquisition because of their ability to win and their ability to merge with the conference, embrace the conference so much. And maybe that's the word I'm looking for here, Ben. BYU has embraced the conference more than anybody else out of these new 8.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. It seems like, look, they were on the outside looking. They were wandering the wilderness for a long time during Independence, Mountain West, and the WAC, and kind of always felt stiff-armed. But now they're a part of the power structure, even though the Big 12 has been viewed by some as the redheaded stepchild of the power conferences. Do you think that they're in a position to be ranked at number 3 in front of the ACC, or did the Miami team kind of set the Big 12 behind, and like the lack of productivity and the lack of maybe a good showing from Texas Tech, did that hurt us in that quest to be the Power 3?
Yeah, Ben, I think the problem is, and this is me being a little dour, but it's honesty. The problem is there is such a large gap right now from a revenue standpoint between 2 and 3 that it's kind of an afterthought. That fight for 3rd versus 4th, 4th versus 3rd is one that I think the rest of the country isn't quite paying attention to because they're so dialed into the SEC and the Big Ten. And even more honestly, the number 1 spot in the country belongs to the Big Ten, and there's a pretty sizable gap between them and the SEC now. We're starting to see the class of college football rise out of the Big Ten. For the Big 12 Conference, losing out on a college football playoff victory again this year, I don't think it was marred by what Miami did, and the reason is the winner of the ACC wasn't Miami. It was Duke. 8-5, embarrassing, a complete embarrassment from the ACC that their league champion was 8-5 Duke, who lost to UConn. That gave the Big 12 still a lot. That you saved face by having a team like Texas Tech go dominate in conference play and be respected amongst its peers in the country. That puts the Big 12 in a great spot, even though they did not win. Texas Tech is still a name you're hearing in the top 5, top 7, top 8 going into next season. That's important for the Big 12 Conference. I think the ACC is, especially given that Miami and Clemson, Florida State probably want out, they're not in a great spot. So are you ready for this? Mazda. There's a reason to drive a Mazda. That's because Mazda is moving the game forward. For those who show there's more to the score than what's on the screen, these remind us of what really takes to raise the bar. And the biggest highlight that raised the bar this week, A.J. Dybantsa's 43 points against Utah. Crazy. Extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving it the extra fire, the grit, and I never quit. We put the same passion into every model. Highlights make the real. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you with Mazda.
Drake, I got an interesting question for you that I think your insight and your opinion on would be insightful. So last week, we had it as our question of the day. The NCAA has approved the logos of these corporate sponsors, right? You can throw a patch on your jersey, and then I think you can also rep a corporate sponsor on your equipment, right? You're abreast of that, I imagine, correct?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, all right. So you're abreast of this. So we had the conversation around, okay, well, what BYU friendly brand would be best for BYU athletics. And some people jokingly said, hey, why not the logo that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints uses? It's the Christus, right? And throw it on there. It's like, okay, like that could be viewed as controversial, putting the Christ logo on an athletic uniform. But the sponsoring institution is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for Brigham Young University. So, look, we were kind of discussing it a little bit earlier today. It's like, okay, well, what are you trying to accomplish by playing sport? And, if it truly is your mission to bring people to Christ and introduce people to maybe the positive fruits of maybe the church, would that be improper? Would that be uncouth? Or would it be kosher to do such, do you think, in your opinion?
A great question, and I'll answer this as somebody who's not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and so you get the outside perspective of somebody who covers the entire Big 12. When I went to high school in Valonia, Arkansas, Little Rock Christian Academy down the road, they wore LRCA across the front of their jersey, right? Or it would say Christian on their alt uniforms, and there was a cross behind that. Their logo, Ben, was a cross. Central Arkansas Christian. Their logo was a cross. Like that was the forefront of what they did as a school, as a private school, as they wanted to further this mission. And as a private Christian, high school, they were creating young men and young women for Christ. So if you're BYU and your goal is, as the flagship university of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the flagship university of a faith, is to be not just the front porch of a university and an institution, but be the front porch for that faith, I don't think that goes to, again, we're talking about Little Rock Christian with the best intentions, having the cross in the middle of their jersey as their logo. I think if BYU does that, this is what BYU stands for. It's what BYU stands on. Ben, here's an example. Can I give you an example? Can I preach for a second, please?
I want you to get up on your pulpit, please.
Okay, I'm going to start slapping the table here. We're about to go. TCU. All right, I got a lot of buddies who visited TCU, and they look, this is not against them, not a slight on them. This is what they say. When you walk on their campus, they tell you, we are TCU. They are no longer Texas Christian University. They're play-by-play guys for ESPN, for Fox. When they're given their game books, their game notes, they're told, hey, please only reference us as TCU. And the first thing you hear on campus is you can make the C as big or as little as you'd like. When you walk on campus at Baylor University, my first day, it's the reason I went there, they say to the students, they say, hey, first thing, before we say hello and get to know your name and we tell you our name, we are unapologetically Christian. The university wears their proverbial cross on the front of their jersey, right? They want you to know day one, thing one, bullet point one, they are a university of faith. I think BYU doing that is not something that steps too far. I think the use of that logo is less of a sponsorship necessarily. I wouldn't view it as that as much as I would, hey, this is just like a high school furthering their mission and showcasing who they are as loudly as they can. I personally have no issue with it as an outsider.
Yeah, and look, I don't think it's going to happen. It's probably going to be Coca-Cola, or it's going to be
Qualtrics.
Something else.
Come on,
right?
Qualtrics.
It may be Crumble, Qualtrics, whatever. It may be Mountain America Credit Union. So it'll be it most likely, because I think the athletic department gets to eat what it kills, and I'm sure the corporate sponsors want additional revenue coming. It would be on brand. I think it actually be. I actually think it would be the right thing to do. Remember what happened with Tim Tebow? You may have been too young. How old are you when the Tim Tebow era was going on?
Some of my young days of college, watching college football.
Right.
No doubt.
I mean, how many people went to the interwebs and started Googling Scripture and trying to understand Scripture, and were being exposed to the Bible and Christ's teachings? Right?
Yeah. Well, and Ben, a part of that, too, you have NFL players that if they put John 3:16 on their eye black, they get fined. Yeah, like there was a guy whose mom died of, it may have been D'Angelo Williams, whose mom died, I hope I got the player correct, whose mom passed away of breast cancer, and he wore, screw cancer or end cancer, cure cancer on his eye black, and they fined him for it. In a world where that's going on, I think institutions like Baylor and BYU should hold hands and be as vocal as possible.
Love that breakdown. Let's preview the BYU U of A matchup tonight. A big hitting. It's Cougar on baby Bobcats. That's what they are. Wildcats are little baby Bobcats in Tucson. That's what they are. They're not true wild Cougars. This is going to be a dominant performance, I believe, by Dybantsa, coming off a 40 burger versus the Utes. What do you see? What do you think will happen tonight at the Marriott Center?
Ben, it's not Dybantsa. It's not right. It's not Saunders. It's Cada. Tonight it's Cada. This game goes as he goes. I think, because here's the thing, Ben. Everybody at this level of college basketball, this is a Final Four caliber matchup. It's an Elite Eight caliber matchup. When you get there, everybody has a big three. Everybody's got three. We go three deep. We can do that. Who's your fourth guy? And it might not be that Cada's the fourth best guy on the BYU basketball team. But I think with his physical presence down low, and by the way, he's not going to bully some 7'2" kid, Islamatov Mopkrovov from Purdue. He's not going to bully that guy, right? Like, that's not Cada's game. But for the games he's consistent, when he is on, when he is pulling rebounds, when he goes 8 points, 12 boards, you might read that on the stat sheet and think, oh, cool, 8 points out of 91. Great. But no, Ben, his ability to screen, his ability to pick and roll, his ability to man the middle in the defense when they go zone, that is different. That is the difference. And that will be the difference with a BYU win over Peat and Arizona, over Tobe Awaka and Arizona, the very deadly group of the Wildcats. And by the way, this is an Arizona team where only one of their starters had to play more than 30 minutes in their last game against West Virginia on Saturday. And they don't have to travel that far to go play BYU in this matchup. It is fresh on fresh. I know the Cougars needed some rest and got it in the middle of the week last week. But these are two teams. You saw it, second half especially, clicking right now. If BYU wins this game, it sends a message to the rest of college basketball. And somehow, some way, it starts with Cada.
Drake Toll, ladies and gentlemen. Drake, best way to support you, what you do, how you do it on all your platforms.
I should say, Ben, it starts with Cada, but it ends with AJ Dybantsa. Come on, who are we kidding? It ends with AJ Dybantsa, of course. Come on.
Hey, I was going to let you ride with Kaba. I love Kaba. I just wish he could do more than dunk and rebound, but he's getting there. He's developing.
He's getting there. We'll see. I think he could be a strong catalyst come March. At Drake C. Toll on Twitter if you like bad tweets. Wherever you find your podcast with Locked On Big 12 as well as YouTube and the Drake Toll Show on the Westwood One Sports app every day, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Ben, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, always a blessing talking ball with Drake Toll. That segment was brought to you by Dental